There's over 180 million search results for how to get into alignment and how to find your true path and your true calling. But what does that even feel like? What does that mean? And how do we, most importantly, put it into practice? If you want to find out more, stick around and I'm going to show you how. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me today and happy Saturday. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe if you'd like to stay up to date with all of my content. Today we're going to be talking about how to find or feel as though you're in alignment with your life path and your life purpose, and how to stay committed to that. So first, let's talk about what it feels like and what it looks like to be in alignment with your life path and your life purpose. When you're in alignment, everything works easily, okay? I'm not saying you don't encounter any struggles or any challenges, but things overall work out with more ease. You feel as though you're not struggling as much. You're going with the flow of life. Pretend like life is a river. You're going down that river, you're flowing naturally with it. If there's any rocks that come up in the way, you kind of maneuver along the rocks very easily. You don't try to struggle, and certainly you don't try to swim up the river. Overall, you feel great. You wake up with purpose. You feel as though what you're doing has a purpose. You feel as though you have more energy. You're sleeping well. You're eating well. You might even be looking better. Overall, you just feel aligned, okay? You feel content. You feel at peace. And that, in a nutshell, is what it is like to be in alignment. Now, let's take the other end of the spectrum. More importantly, how can you tell when you're not in alignment, okay? We can't all be in alignment all of the time. So that's why it's important for you guys to recognize the signs or what it feels like to not be in alignment, so that when you do recognize that, you can kind of shift back to your true path and your true purpose with much more ease. So when you're not in alignment, it's sort of the opposite of being in alignment, okay? But more specifically, you tend to feel as though you're more lethargic, you're more sluggish, you have less energy overall. You might not be sleeping well, you might have nightmares even, your sleep might be really interrupted. Maybe you're eating less well, maybe you're eating more junk food or just foods that are not as kind of healthy for you at that moment. You might be getting sick a lot more, or just things happening to your physical body that are sort of like impairing your ability to do things as easily as before. You find as though you're in this kind of feeling of being stuck, okay? Everything is kind of like a struggle. Everything's a challenge. Everything's just harder, or you need to put in more effort and more time and more dedication to achieve the same things that perhaps were much easier to achieve when you were in alignment. So you'll notice this difference that, let's say you have a particular goal, like I want to reach that goal, but it seems like anything I do, it's like it's not getting me very far. I'm only going so far with my efforts, and you wonder maybe like, why is it? I seem to be dedicating all this time and all this energy to that particular goal, but it's not getting me very far. So why is that? Well, it might be because you're not in alignment. Perhaps those goals or whatever you're trying to achieve are not really in alignment with your true path and your true purpose. And that's perhaps a sign that maybe you need to reevaluate them. You need to see, is there something that I can tweak here? Is there something that I can sort of slightly modify that will be more in alignment with my true purpose and will make me feel as though things are flowing just more smoothly overall? So those are kind of the main indicators that you might not be in alignment, okay? There might be a lot of obstacles that are coming up in your path, or a lot of different challenges that are coming up in your path, and you might be trying different approaches, like, okay, maybe if I change this way that I'm approaching a situation, it might lead to less kind of obstacles kind of coming up, or you're trying your best to really figure it out, but it seems like no matter what you're doing or what you're changing, obstacles and challenges keep popping up. And so you might be left feeling confused and wondering why that is. Again, it might be because you're trying to kind of subconsciously really redirect yourself to a different path. And so instead of kind of being in that victim mentality of why is this happening to me? Why is it that I can't achieve the things that I want to achieve, or that it's so hard to achieve the things that I'm really wanting to do right now? Instead of sort of sitting in that victim mentality and that mentality of disempowerment, really, we want to shift the narrative and we want to start thinking, what is it about the way that my life is currently set up and the way that I'm approaching my life right now? What is it about that I can consciously change, that I can make small changes to, such that each day I see an improvement in those changes leading to a better alignment with my life path, okay? So going back to kind of how it feels to be in alignment, making those small changes, is it getting me closer to that? Do I feel as though I'm making steady progress towards that? I mean, it's hard to go from one day being out of alignment to the next day being in alignment. That's difficult. It's not, I guess, impossible, but that's not really the purpose. The purpose is to be aware of when you're not in alignment, of when you've kind of gone off the track that you're naturally supposed to be on. And by picking up on those signs, then you can just consciously think to yourself, okay, well, I want to get back on track. And what do I got to do now? What are the things that I practically need to implement in my life? So you might then ask, okay, I know I'm not in alignment right now. I've figured that out, and I've taken note that I don't feel very good, and most of the time it's like I lack all energy and I lack all enthusiasm for life. And I know I want to get out of that, right? I know it's something I don't want to be stuck in, but I don't know the next steps. Like, what kind of changes should I be making to my life to get into alignment? So that's a big question. It's a very important question, of course. But in a nutshell, to go from not being in alignment to being in alignment, you have to let go of that resistance. Oftentimes, there's a lot of resistance there. There's a lot of holding on to or attaching yourself to certain outcomes, certain things that you thought might be what you needed to do, might be aligned with your life path and your life purpose. And you're so attached to those things. You're so bent on, I need to do that because that's what's going to get me where I need to get to. And because of that, you might have sort of a viewpoint that's very limited. And so all I invite you to do is to sort of take a step back and to release some of that control, to release some of those attachments, and to open yourself up, open your perspective up to what life could be like if it just looked a little bit different. So thank you so much for joining me here today. I hope you liked this episode. Please like, share, and subscribe if you want to stay up to date with more of my content. Please also leave a comment for suggestions of things that you want me to talk about. And I look forward to seeing you guys all very, very soon. Bye now.